Okay, here we go again. This is Brother DeRoy Cruz, your Life Applications Officer, coming at you again to continue with part two of my, taking a shot at Mr. Polight and his buddies. I could throw them in there too if I want to. Uh, Mr. Polight isn't very polite and he's not all that bright. But anyway, it's sad. I'm going to go straight through my notes. You see it cut off earlier. I never do videos more than like 30 minutes, but lately I've been getting carried away, so I'm going to try to stay within a 20-30 minute stretch right here. But going back to addressing Mr. Polight, Brother Polight. He likes to call himself, so I better call him Brother Polight. Uh, it's so sad to me that we, first of all, as people that are religious, people that are supposedly not religious, and races as well, cannot see the fine print. First of all, Mr. Polight, Sinnetter, Saka Amos, Hebrew Israelites, and all them, little Pharaoh and all them people that are out there fussing about their race. All the white people who are still racist. All the religious people. The Muslims coming here from the Middle East. The Asians that come into this country, okay, and walk around here like they own the place, okay? Walk around here like America owes them something. Let me tell all y'all something. Your race don't mean squat. It doesn't mean squat. It only tells where you come from. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that your race can't have something good, but that good only means anything when it's good for all. Let's say your race is into technology, like the Japanese and the Chinese. They spend a lot of money on technology and they got all kinds of schools and all kinds of things in China and Japan. They build these huge ports for trains and jumbotrons and all this stuff. I mean, you go to someplace like China and you look up. They got stuff so far up in the sky, nothing like here in America. They got tunnels of trains and stuff that what I'm saying, but yet their people need to come here for what? I'm still trying to figure out why they need to come here. I love Asian people. They don't never want to you know they don't never speak to me unless they're lost or something. But I love Asian people, but I don't understand why they're here if they're so bright. But yet I gotta admit though, in their country, they have a lot to offer as far as but again, like I said, why are you coming here to the United States to make money and take it back to your own country? Why are you coming here to go to school and take that knowledge back to your own country? Why are you coming here to this country and acting like you're too good to kick it with Americans, especially black Americans? Oh, but when you got lost in the ghetto, you pulled over to ask me for directions, right? Because there wasn't no white folks around for you to, ask directions. Okay? I'm just trying to figure out. Okay? But your race does not mean squat. It doesn't. Show me one thing about anybody's race that makes them better than anybody. White folks are only better than blacks because blacks refuse to evolve. If you're watching this channel for the first time, look at my other videos. I've said this like 100 times. Blacks refuse to evolve. But white folks are not better than Asians. They'll even admit to your face that Asians are smarter than them. And white folks are not smarter than a lot of Arabs. And they'll admit it. But when it comes to you black folks, they'll say, well, white folks have a better IQ than black folks. Because of why? You put that on yourself, black folks. Because of the way you act. I was just on the bus. And like I talked about rap music in the last video, this dude lost it. First it started at the bus stop. And he started, ain't nobody there. He's singing to himself. He got his headphones on. He got his music on. He just went into a convulsion. Then he got on the bus in front of 150 people, man. And he was like, and I'm thinking, somebody slapped him and make him sit down. I mean, he was a big dude. But I'm like, I told you. I said in another video, there's something demonic going on in the black community. In the so-called black community. And I meant it when I said it. I mean, there's something going on, people. There's something going on. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy out of hand. People can't even sit still. They can't even respect the fact that they're in public anymore. Black folks. There was a guy on the bus one day. He was doing this. He was like in the seat and he was dancing. He's doing this thing. And I guess there's a part in the song where it says F you. And he was doing this. I'm serious. All to the beat of this rap song. He was sticking his middle, and there's children and women sitting right across from him, and he's got his fingers out like that over some daggone rap music. Okay? Look, let me tell you something, black folks. The last thing in the world I care about right now is my blackness. Is my black, so-called culture. I love my brown skin. Don't get it twisted. I love my brown skin. And I love my black Christian attitude. But I do not really care about your stupid swag and your stupid rap music and your stupid hip hop and your stupid, all these different things that make us look like idiots as a race. I really don't give a bloody frickin' care. I really don't. Now, don't get me wrong. I listen to 1% rap music. I listen to Lecrae. I have a friend who's a Christian rapper. Okay, I listen to a little bit of his stuff. I got a cousin who's a rapper. I'm obligated to listen to some of his stuff. Although, there's a lot of people in my life. I'm wondering what your point is with this rap music, man. Like, what are you singing about? But come on, people. What did you do? What happened? These black people today are not the offspring of slaves. I've met some offspring of slaves. These black people that I see every day downtown Pittsburgh are not the offspring of slaves. Especially the ones that I see after hours, after 5 o'clock. When rush hour is about over, Them ain't the offspring of slaves. Okay? Those are not the offspring of slaves. Let me pull this out of here. Okay? Those are not the offspring of slaves. These are people who went to Mars or some crazy planet, and they learned how to create rap music. And then they did a séance, and they put demons in it on this planet. And then they came back here to Earth, and they started talking about slavery, and we're all victims of slavery. And then they created Black Lives Matter. And the Hebrew Israelites, and they prayed for Polight, and they gave him power and all this stuff. That's why, that must be what happened. I don't understand these people. These are not the offspring of slaves. These are something else. Okay? I don't understand these black folks. I really don't. But it's so sad that nobody wants to look at the fine print. Like I was saying earlier before I got cut off. As far as religion is concerned, there is a foundation, Mr. Polight. There is a foundation. And that foundation cannot be shaken by your skepticism, your atheism, or how would you put it, my own religion that I am the founder of. Oh my God. The foundation cannot be shaken. That's why it's called a foundation in the first place. You fumbled when you said that. If it's a foundation, it can't be shaken. It's just like the ground. Okay? You can even in an earthquake, the ground will still be there. Sometimes it splits open, but it's still there. It ain't going anywhere. Okay? Okay? Buildings may fall upon the ground and all like that, but the ground is, there. That's why in a storm or whatever, they tell you to go down to the basement. Why? Because you're on the ground. Ground zero. You're on the ground. That's foundation. No other foundation except the one that has been laid, which is Christ. All this religious nonsense, okay, is exactly that, religious nonsense. But the foundation is Christ. Okay? I'm sorry that you are confused by Muslims. I'm sorry that you're confused by atheism. I'm sorry that you're confused by the Catholic Church. I'm sorry that you're confused by the white man, the Protestant white man, the Amish white man, the German white man, all these different races of people that you claim, Mr. Polight, that that prove, as you put it, that it's all a hoax. I'm sorry that they confuse you, but the foundation cannot be shaken. It is Christ. And all you got to do is look at the fine print. There's fine print to everything, but you feel, and a lot of people that you argue with and agree with, feel that your personal feelings change the facts. The facts is that Christianity, as the Jewish brother from the Dominican, whatever he is, okay, the fact remains that the Jewish brother was telling you right. Christianity started long before. Now, a lot of Catholics will say it all started in Rome. No, the war against Christianity started in Rome. Christianity started when Jesus came on the scene and called the 12 disciples. That's when it really that was the kicker. That's when it began to kick off. When Jesus came to this planet in the form of a human child and called the 12 disciples. That was the beginning. Okay? But before that even, we go all the way back to chapter 4 of Genesis. And then men begin to call upon the name of the Lord. That's the beginning of it. That's the beginning of faith. Before there was ever a miracle, the Bible says in Genesis chapter 4, the very last verse, and then men begin to call upon the name of the Lord. That's the beginning. Okay? Now, it was really warmed up when Christ came on the scene because he was putting everything where it belongs. He said, I am a stumbling block. That's what he is. Christ is the stumbling block. That's why it doesn't bother me that people hate Christians. You're supposed to hate Christians on a prophecy level. If you look at prophecy, it's natural to hate Christians because we are the stumbling block. If we are, Christ says, if they hate you, please understand that they hated me before they hated you, and because of me, they will hate you. Okay, so if you are of Christ, you are the stumbling block. We are the stumbling block of Islam. That's why so many Muslim cults kill Christians. Or whatever they think a Christian is. Okay? That's why, Polight hates the Bible. That's why, I got to deal with all these atheists. That's why I got to deal with, Jews don't believe in Christ and they think that they're better than everybody. Okay? Because they're Judaic. And, there's just so many different things against the church and against Christ. But the fact remains that there's the fine print of all this. All points to Christ. Everything from your race to how the Bible got in this country, it all points to Christ and the promises that God gave his people. And one of them, like the Jewish brother told Polight, was that God will always preserve his word. And he did. He preserved his word through the same people that at one time thought that black folks were just a bunch of animals dancing around a fire. Hey, but whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? It's your fault, black folks, because number one, when you was back in Africa in the motherland, you killed the prophets. You killed the Jews. You did wicked things, and you served pagan gods. And when the white man, started cleaning up his act and putting away his pagan gods, now I do believe that white folks was the last race to show up on the map. That's just my belief. You can argue with that if you want. I'm saying this out of opinion. I'm not saying this out of study. But I do believe the white race is the last race to be born. And I believe they came into the picture after all the wars were over, after all the bloodshed, after, all the religious explosions and blood over religion and all that stuff. Okay? But God blessed them because somewhere in this pickle, they found Jesus. And I'm not saying they found Jesus as a white race. I'm saying that somebody of Caucasian skin was willing to put Christianity and have the power and the pull to put Christianity up on a platform where it belongs at one time. Okay? It had nothing to do with trying to dominate, but it had to do with understanding that Christ is king, and Christ must increase, we must decrease. The fine print leads us back to Christ. The fine print about religion, about faith, all leads us back to Christ. You can argue your Islam all you want to. You can argue your atheism. You can argue Google. You can argue books. You can argue dictionaries. You can argue whatever you want to argue. I could do 100 videos, and a lot of people will still argue. The point is, the fine print. Remember when you had a credit card? I remember when I got one of my first credit cards. And it was my second credit card, and I went way out of town to get my second credit card. I'll never forget it. Cross Country Bank. And the guy sat me down and he says, "You sure you ready to do this?" And he made me nervous. And I'm all stuffed up. And I says, what's there to be worried about? Let me in on a secret, man. He said, "Flip that card around and look at the fine print." And that quick, I got home and forgot about the fine print. In order to keep that card from going into debt, you have to pay the balance before the end of the month, or there's going to be interest added to the balance. And for years, I didn't pay attention to that. And one day, somebody that had gotten himself out of credit card debt let me know how to stay out of credit card debt. Now, I'm not qualified to have a credit card. Every time I try to get a credit card, they give me some old platinum card that says, "Oh, you got to buy stuff out of their catalog." I can't have my credit's so bad, I can't get like $300 of established credit. Were you going to help me out a little bit? They won't do that. But, it's sad that we can't look at the fine print. Okay, enough of that. But again, your race doesn't mean squat. I try to tell these Hebrew Israelites when I argue with them on YouTube. You're no longer special Hebrew Israelites. You blew that. If you were special, you would have never been taken as slaves. And you said it out of your own mouth, but you're trying to act like it's something that it's not. No, you were taken slave because God rejected you. Because of your paganism. He rejected you because of the Jews. He rejected you because you weren't right with him. Okay? Your race isn't special. You was rejected long before white men ever took you as slaves. Your race don't mean squat. I don't worry about my race. I'm glad I'm not white. But I'm sure my white friends are glad they ain't black. Okay? But still, your race does not mean squat. I go by what works. What helps people. Now, if I'm on a white person's good side, he got my back. It doesn't matter the fact that I'm black, he's white. It doesn't matter that his ancestors once took my ancestors as slaves. It doesn't matter. Why? Because we're past all that. Okay? He got my back, I got his back. I respect him enough to where he can trust me. And vice versa. Okay? And he refuses to talk about, my shortcomings, but at the same time, be very honest with me. But nobody has to believe us. Nobody's begging you, Polight, to be a Christian. Like I talked about Sam's Club a dozen times and Walmart and Target. This whole Christian thing only means something if you subscribe. Just like, why are we arguing about Sam's Club? You don't have a membership. Okay? If you hate shopping at Walmart, shop at Target. Okay? I like shopping at Radio Shack. Found out today they're closing all their stores. Radio Shack is going out of business. But I love their products. The best stuff that I ever bought electronically, I got from Radio Shack. And Radio Shack would always hook me up when I needed something that you don't usually sell in other stores electronically. Okay? But Radio Shack's going out of business. Have you read the paper? So, see how that works? So, now what am I going to do? Now I got to go to Best Buy. I got to find a way to get up to Best Buy. Okay? To get what I need. Okay? But nobody has to believe us. Nobody, I think it's a war of the minds that black folks, atheists, and Muslims and other different groups of people want to argue. Because you're so afraid that if I shut my mouth and just stick to my personal faith, that I will live a better life than you. And you're right. I am going to live a better life than you. Okay? It's just common sense. The Christians are going to live better lives than everybody else. Why? Because there is no leaven in a Christian lifestyle that is completely bound, connected to Christ. There is no leaven, as the Bible says. There is no fatty tissue. There is no contamination of the things that we hold dear. But everything is contaminated. Your race is contaminated. Your beliefs, you know what I'm saying? You smoke, you drink, you have sex outside of marriage, and some of the most religious of you do this stuff. And then a lot of you don't do this stuff, and you think that is your relationship with God. No, that's not your relationship with God. That's just you doing religious things. Religion and having a relationship with God is two different things. You're not, you can get an atheist to do that. An atheist, if it comes to his attention that these things are wrong, he can do it. He can stop having sex outside of marriage. He can stop drinking and smoking. And then what you going to say? It has to be for the right reason. Christ is the foundation. Okay? But nobody has to believe us. It's okay if you don't want to have anything to do with Christianity. But Polight invited this brother on the show. Because why? Polight wanted to show the world that he could. What did he say before the show? I dare this brother to convert me. I want to see this brother try to convert me. No man comes to Christ unless God draws him, Polight. Nobody has to convert you. You have to get yourself right with God, Polight. That goes for everybody. Whether you're an atheist, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're some other religion, whether you're black, you're white, whatever. Everybody got to get themselves right with God. People don't come into church because the Christian won the argument. That's not why people walk into churches. People walk into churches because they've come to the understanding and the realization that they need God and they need to have a relationship with God. And they want to be around the people that claim that they have a relationship with God. That's how people go to church. People don't go to church because, the Christian beat me in an argument. He wouldn't let me get a word out edgewise. I couldn't beat him in an argument. He had a good argument, so I guess I got to go to church. I lost the bet. No, that's not how it goes. People go to church because they want God. They don't go because, oh, the Jewish guy beat Polite in an argument. No, that's not why we go to church. Just more idiotic nonsense coming from them corners out in Harlem, okay? But there's a fine line between religious spirits, that's what I call that, when you do nice things and you think that is the end and the beginning of your faith. No, that's not going to get you to heaven. You have to have it right here and right here, okay? There's a fine line between religious spirits and godly understanding and religious freedom. I use my religious freedom to do this that I'm doing right here. But if you take away my religious freedom, I'm still a Christian. I just be a Christian to my own family. I just be a Christian to my own friends and family, that's all. To my own time of worship between me and God. I'm still a Christian though. And Polite, you cannot shake the foundation, because if you can shake it, then it was never a foundation to begin with. But this loitering on the streets and fussing about white folks is stupid. It really is. It needs to stop. I don't care how educated, how many books you wrote, how religious you are. When you sit there and complain about people that are building things and running businesses, you know, they are your bread and water. They are the foundation that your house is sitting on. And you sit there and condemn these people and say all kinds of matters against them right while they are, you know, they're walking around your little argument, your little loitering every day. You know, I'm watching this video of these Hebrew Israelites arguing with Polite and Sinetta and all these guys. And they're walking past, working because they got business to do. They're spending money and they're working jobs while black folks is on the street fussing. Well, maybe if you took that energy that you use to fuss so much about everything that makes you feel ashamed of yourself, if you took that energy and that adrenaline and put it into a job, I'm sorry, Polite, but if you're not too busy to argue and run your mouth about stuff that don't edify, you're not busy enough. You need to go get a real job. You need to go work for the juice company or the steel company or the plastic company or something like that. You need to go get a job driving truck or something. Take out the trash or something, Mr. Polite. You got too much time on your hands. You and all them Harlem people. You got too much time on your hands. And all you're doing is showing all these white people how lost the so-called black community is. I don't believe in the black community. But for your sake, I'll call it the black community. Okay? Black folks don't have their own community. But, and I'm not part of no black community. That's why I don't believe in it. Because even though right now at this moment I'm living in what a lot of black folks would call the ghetto. Okay? I'm not part of the ghetto. I'm not part of the black community. I'm just a potential black African American who happens to be renting a house in the ghetto at the moment. Okay? I'm getting ready to get out of here. Matter of fact, I got my letter. I'm getting ready to move out of here. Okay? I've walked up on whites talking bad about blacks. Okay? White folks do it too. White folks do it too. But you know what? They do it on their own property. I remember I had a friend who, her husband, I didn't know that was her husband until later. But all the time that I bought products off of him, he had a habit. He had the best price, so we kept shopping there. But I would buy, junk off of him, auto parts, junk parts off of him. And he had the best price in the area. But you roll up. He lived way in the back on this back road in the back and out in the boondocks. Out in another part of New Kensington that's not even really called New Kensington. It's called something else. But he was back there in this little piece of land by the river. It wasn't that big of an area at all. Okay? And there was only like about 8 houses back there. And nothing but gravel. But you go back there to his junk shop, and you could always pull up, and he would always be talking about nigga this and nigga that, and this black dude tried to pull this, and this black person tried to pull this, you know. But he always made sure that, he treated me good when I'm putting that green money on the table. He always showed me, treated me with respect when I put that money on the table. He always made sure, he always let me know, if it doesn't work, bring it back, we'll replace it for free. Okay? And he owned the property. He owned his house, which was down at the end of the corner, and the 2 houses in between. He was the landlord. He owned that whole stretch. Okay? It wasn't like he came to my side of the neighborhood and stood out in front of the black haircut shop and was talking, nigga, this and nigga, that. Now, his wife was my friend. And she used to get on his case about that. Let him know, you should stop doing that stuff. But, my point is, yes, white folks do it too. But not as ignorant and nasty as black folks do it. They have a little bit more of discretion in the way that they do it. Oh, they talk about us and they talk down on us hard. And I've walked on them. Okay? But they made sure when they did it in a place where ain't nothing going to go down. If it do go down, your black behind is outnumbered. Okay? But anyway. We need more blacks to do the things that Polight's not doing. We need more blacks to shut their mouths, shut their fat mouths, and get into real estate. Become cops. We need more black cops. We need more black paramedics. We need more black doctors and lawyers. We need black folks to evolve and take on the big jobs. Go to college and get that education. I just did a video about a guy and a girl that graduated from Pitt. And I just did a shout out for him. Okay? Look, we need more people like that. It ain't, race don't mean squat. Okay? Don't go to college to find out how to bring power to the black community when there should be no black community in the first place. Go to college so that you can stop hating on white people, okay, and be just like them and have the White House and the white picket fence, okay, the husband, the dog in the suburbs, 2-3 cars, okay, the camp space, okay, the motorhome and whatever else that they got that you're jealous of. You need to look out for you and quit worrying about your race, because your race don't care a squat about you. They don't care about you until you're out there rioting. Okay? They don't care about you until you're out there rioting and hating other people that have nothing to do with your problem. And that's all I got to say. I'm going to close out right here. Thanks for watching. Stop letting black folks pull you down. Stop running your mouths and talking and wasting time and loitering. Get yourself working. Get yourself, anything you do positive. See, this is the fine print. Anything you do positive is going to relieve you of your racial problem. The problem that you're having with white folks, with the white man today, It's because you don't have anything. Get yourself something, and then you won't hate the white man so much because you got it too. Can you imagine somebody like Tyler Perry standing on a corner, loitering, talking about how much he hates the white man? Did Bill Cosby ever do that? Huh? You know, and even people like even these ghettofied comedians like Jamie Foxx and what's his name, Kevin Hart, different ones. They don't do that stuff either. They do it as they do it for comedy. They do it to get paid. They don't do it because they want to come back and live in the ghetto and waste your time loitering anymore. Black folks are spending too much idle time doing nothing while you're hating the white man. The white man is wealthy. The white man got the house, the car, the suburbs. Okay? And this little goofy ideas of a race war, that's going to keep you out of the suburbs after black folks have totally destroyed the so-called black community, which they're doing right now as I speak. Black folks, we don't have time for Polight, Sinetter, and Saka. We don't have time for this nonsense. This is not the way to help black folks. The way to help black folks is to help black folks evolve. The way to help black folks is to help black folks do what needs to be done so that they can be, it's already settled. Sorry, black folks. Your culture is already fixed. It's called American culture. There is no separation. Look around you. There's black folks living over here, and then you got Asians, whites, and Arabs all living in the same community, making the same amount of money. But your black behind is over here in what was left behind that's called the black community. Come on, people. That's all I got to say. You take it the way you want to take it. But black people, we're wasting time. We are wasting precious time. This does not fix anything. What we need to do is we need to be honest with black people, and we need to drop the hammer down on them and put them in their place. And we need to focus on being Americans and not worry about our race. Because white folks are not wasting time worrying about their race. When Asians come over here and they want to live like we do, they don't waste time worrying about their race. They just afraid of your black behind because they know that you will waste time on your race. Okay? I'm out. Signing off. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Leave a comment. Ask a question. I'll be glad to respond. See you later.